What's a good word, YouTube? Not sure what I'm going to put in the title yet. It's a touchy subject. I watched a video yesterday, ex-convict on the YouTube channel, and he's speaking on this, and him and I see things in a very similar way. I really don't want to do this video. I don't. But it's been eating at me since yesterday, and when I get feeling this way, it's one of those things I have to do, I don't want to do. So I got to assume it's the man upstairs pushing me. This subject gets me really upset for a number of reasons. So I'm just going to get into it. Racism and bigotry. It's something I've dealt with my whole life. Right to the present moment. As a young kid, coming up in foster homes, I lived with very square families. Leave it to Beaverville. I don't know how else to put it, right? Very square. Most foster homes were very square. Had one foster mom that used to put a beating on me on a regular, but sorry, I need a cigarette for this. This foster mom that used to put a beating on me on a regular, she was Creole, I think is the right way to say it. Light-skinned, black lady. And she was married to a Mexican guy. When I was in this foster home, I had a foster brother, John Paez. He was also brown. I don't know what his nationality was. I think he was Hispanic. I don't know. But I was the only white person in that house. That was the only foster home that was eclectic. The rest were very white, very square. And then I moved home with Mom. I went from Squaresville to the ghetto. And when I say the ghetto, it was a predominantly black neighborhood. And it was where they put the house, I don't want to say they put it, but there were apartments in this neighborhood that were for fixed income, housing authority. So when I moved home and I was going to school and hanging out with kids in the neighborhood, it was very different than the foster homes I was in. And I didn't understand a lot of things. From Squareville to the hood, the cultures are very different. And it's not just skin color. It's behavior, it's speech, it's clothing. It's completely different, right? It's kind of like you can watch a country and Western video, or you can watch gangster rap, right? Way different. So when I moved back home, the apartment building we lived in was small, maybe 8 units. And most of the folks in that complex were black. We lived upstairs from this black guy, Willie, and he was an older gentleman, drove a Cadillac, wore a suit with fake gold chains, and whatever, right? I didn't know anything about anything. I was 11 years old. 10, 11, 12. No, not even 12, 10, 11. And Mom was an alcoholic. And she went downstairs drinking with Willie one day. And Willie, because he got Mom drunk, figured he was entitled to take what he wanted, and he did. One day I come in the house after playing in the carport, which was right by Willie's front door. He chatted me up. Seemed like a nice guy. I come upstairs, say, hey, I met Willie, blah, blah, blah. He seems like a nice guy. Mom got red-faced and real angry and proceeded to tell me what happened. I had a ball-peen hammer that I got from Uncle Mike, and I used to work on my bicycle. And grabbed it and said I was going to kill him. Mom says, you can't do that. Who's going to protect me? So I had to live upstairs from the man that hurt my mom. I didn't tell nobody back then. People would have said, well, why don't you do something about it, you know? They wouldn't understand because they didn't understand my responsibility for my mom. What triggered all this racism and prejudicial behavior was a video I watched yesterday of this Jay Williams convict dude, and what he's talking about racism in prison, in some prisons, and how you have to click up with your own in some states where he was doing time. It wasn't so stringent like it is in Cali. In Cali, you don't have a choice. You stick with your own. I know that because my brother went to San Quentin. And when he came out, he was different, for sure. And for good reason, I have no doubt. Him and I went to Oregon once to visit my daughter. And we were in the grocery store. And there was this pretty good sized black guy, young, with a girlfriend. And he talked some shit to my daughter, who was half Filipino. You know, like, said something rude or crude or some kind of bullshit. And I'm pretty good at in one ear and out the other with a punk. My brother got let off immediately. He wanted to tear this dude's head off. And I had to tell him, I go, dude, chill, man. Fuck that, blah, blah, blah. Man, I really don't want to do this. But to get back to that neighborhood that I grew up in, for part of my life, I had friends of all colors. One of my best friends, Benny Bass, was as dark-skinned as you can get. And I used to sleep at his house, and we would laugh and do the soul train dance in between these twin beds and clown each other. We would work on our bicycles together. And, you know, I broke bread with his family, sat at their dinner table. They made me feel welcome. So at an early age, I knew right from wrong. And I knew, well, I didn't know, I just wasn't prejudiced. You know, Mom was very friendly and angry, but, you know, she taught me you can't hate a whole race of people because of what one person did. And to this day, I'm colorblind to skin, but I'm very sensitive to behavior. With the shit that comes out of your mouth, your actions speak louder than words, all that kind of thing. I got no tolerance for a hater, right? If somebody calls me a wood, I'm quick to correct them because that paints a picture of something different than what I really am. And I understand people that hate, and I understand where that comes from. It's learned behavior. Whether you learned it from your cellmate, or you learned it from your parents, or you learned it from the kids in the playground, it's learned behavior. When I saw the movie The Warriors as a kid, back in the 70s, you know, Warriors is come out and play and all that shit. There was this leader of a gang in New York City. All the gangs in New York City met at this park, Central Park, I think, or some shit. And he was trying to unite all the gangs and say, if we were working together, we could run this thing. And he was right. But that's not what society wants, right? The people that run this shit show, they don't want unity. They want separation. I'm gonna link another video below about what's going on in the music industry and how the few run the many, right? It's just like Cyrus trying to pull all the gangs together because it's just a handful of motherfuckers that really run the shit show. And if there was unity, we would run it. Not the rich, not the white, right? Most rich people are white. Very few people of color get to climb that ladder because they're suppressed. I've seen that shit my whole life. I've been called a wannabe, right? Wannabe black by black people and white people. When I say I feel like I don't have a country, it's because I don't fit, right? I don't fit your fucking stereotype. Never have. I look the way I look because I like it, not because I'm trying to appease somebody or fit in somewhere. It's how I prefer to look. I used to call my tattoos a no pest strip, right? It kept all the idiots away from me because I look scary. Good, fuck you, stay away from me. I don't need your ignorance. Where I live here, it's way white. When I went to jail, it was all white, right? When it came to the cops and when it comes to my neighbors, they're all white. And when you look up Wisconsin and the, you know, swastika party, those motherfuckers hold rallies up here. I've seen it online. I don't know if there's another state in the union that lets those fools run amok. Each to their own. You want to be a hater, but leave me out of your fucking mess. My situation in this neighborhood. I don't know these people, and they don't know me, but they hated on me as soon as I moved in. It almost felt like it was by design. And then, oh shit, there goes Johnny being paranoid again. No, I'm just observant. I don't understand how I got here on a prayer and how that prayer disappeared and what role that person played in my mess. I don't understand any of this dynamics in this fucking neighborhood, right? I didn't come up here to be a troublemaker. I don't go drinking in town. I don't do anything other than stay on my property. So the trouble that I'm in here came to me. I didn't go out seeking it. I wasn't at a fucking rally waving a fucking swastika sign. You know what I'm saying? Smoking cool cigarettes, listening to soul music, right? The Isley Brothers, the Barkays, Brothers Johnson. I can go on and on and on about artists that I love that are of color. Santana. You name it. I judge people by their actions. Sorry, my thoughts are kind of jumbled, so I'm having a hard time trying to make this point. And I don't like doing these videos because it brings me negative attention. But the shit needs to be said, man. There's so much hatred in the world. And so much interference by the rich and the powerful to control the masses, right? I'm gonna link a video about the music industry and all this P. Diddy shit and Epstein shit, and how some rich folks had a meeting with people in the music industry about gangster rap and promoting gangster rap in order to fill their private prisons with inmates. Man, that makes a lot of sense, right? If you're busy gangbanging and killing each other, there's no unity, so you're not getting after the people in charge. And worse than that, they want you to act bad so they can put you in their prison so the government gives them money. I believe that wholeheartedly. You believe what you want to believe. I'm just telling you what I lived through and my observations of the here and now. Prejudicial behavior comes in many forms. People around here are prejudiced against me because I come from California. I'm friendly with black folk, etc., right? And from what I've seen here, these people aren't friendly to anybody but their own. I don't get that. I don't understand that. I wish I would have known that before I moved here. I would have never fucking come here. I had some Jewish guy giving me a hard time, telling me I'm one of those people. Yeah, I'm one of those people, all right. I'm not a hater. You are, Jew fuck. Sorry, guys, I don't like talking that way, but I need to make a point. And not all Jewish people are bad, not all white people are bad, etc. Once again, it's kind of hard for me to get these thoughts out because it's just so foul. It's like poison inside you that you just want out. I hate being polluted by haters. And have to think about how fucked up the world is because people don't know how to behave. Shit is getting worse. Race relations are worse now than they were when I was a kid, by far. There was some bigotry for sure, right? And when it comes to racism and prejudice and bigotry, bigotry is ignorance, right? Archie Bunker. You know, all you folks this, all you folks that, right? Like the Jew said to me, you're one of those people, right? Well, Archie Bunker would say some dumb shit, but he never meant no harm. He loved George. In some of those episodes, they had some heartfelt moments, you know, amongst the jokes, right? It's jokes. When you listen to Richard Pryor, listen to some of the shit he said. Eddie Murphy, listen to some of the shit he said. Then go listen to George Carlin and Sam Kinison, and the list goes on and on and on and on about comedy back in the 80s. You ain't gonna hear no comedian talking like that now. They'll get hung. Are you kidding me? It's a fucking joke. There are stereotypes about all the races. It's meant to be funny, not meant to be hurtful. But this world of snowflakes want to cast aspersions on anybody and everybody that's different than them, right? The snowflakes are probably more prejudicial than the Klan. Are you kidding me? I've never seen such nonsense in my life, and I lived right in the heart of it, right? Nonsense, nonstop. But when we were together in the yard, our little rainbow of friends, not a rainbow flag, separation. It's the way they want it. And clearly most people fall prey to the bullshit. It's sad. Well, I'm sorry, I don't fall prey to nobody's bullshit. Not the people in this neighborhood, not the people in the government, not the people in the music industry. I don't give a fuck. I will listen to what I want to listen to, and I will say what I want to say. Because I don't try to hurt nobody's feelings. Unless you hurt my feelings, then I'm quick to bust your balls. I know most of my words will fall on deaf ears. But the thing is, this video could get watched many years from now, long after I'm dead and gone, and maybe, just maybe, it'll make a difference for one of these kids, right? They get misled and then they go look at a guy that looks like me and says, wow, this guy has got nothing but love for black folks and brown folks and Asian folks. Well, maybe I can too. He could stand up to the peer pressure. Why can't I? Because that's what it comes down to. Like I said, it's fucking learned behavior. And whoever you're learning it from is usually somebody in your circle, right? All right, I said enough. Probably said too much. But you know what? I hope and pray that one day it makes a difference for even one person to learn how not to hate. It's easy to learn how to hate. Not so easy to learn how to be accepting. And fuck accepting, learn how to enjoy somebody else's culture, right? Variety is the spice of life, homie. Why you want to be a hater? You limit yourself to so much. There's so much out there. Food and music and clothes and culture. Fucking culture, man. You think your culture is the only culture? Your culture is the only right culture? You bumped your fucking head. All right, I gotta go. Enough. Much love and respect to each and every one of you. Always. Love the ones that love you back. Don't ever stop. And when it comes to a hater, do your best to turn the other cheek. Don't fall prey to their bullshit. All right. I'll see you in the funny papers. Peace.